scrimmage. Well, there you go. This offense off to a strong start this afternoon.
Yeah, with a big run and a first down. That's putting what you practice into play. That's excellent execution to get things started.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. He'll drop to throw. Dancing to his left. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. And the Bears are going to take possession of the football.
Brandon, I wonder if someone's down there checking on the head coach right now because he might be in a little bit of shock after what just transpired. Instead of a lengthy opening drive to deal with, this guy stepped up and stole that drive away. Momentum on their side now. How will they attack on offense?
Up front, they're going to stop him right at the line. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Here's Peyton up the middle. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. Got his man, and it's caught for a Chicago touchdown. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Bears take the early turnover and convert it into an opening touchdown. Gold with the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. After the touchdown, it's Robbie Gould now to kick it away. And no return here for White. It'll be a touchback. At their own 25-yard line. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, wound up leading to a touchdown the other way. How do you approach drive number 2?
Going back to your game.
Into a double team, and it's intercepted. And the Bears are going to take possession of the football.
Well, they're certainly not giving much help to their defense, are they? Because for the 2nd time now, that D has had to run back out on the field early after an interception. And remember, on the last drive, the opposing side took it in for 6 after that interception.
Now a give. It's Sayers between the tackles. And able to work his way down to the 16. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short. A run at Sayers right side. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
Brandon, we talk all the time about those hybrid players, guys who can do more than one thing. And I think if you're playing strong safety in the NFL today, you are a true hybrid. Part linebacker, part cover guy.
And coming up, sticking his nose in the mess there and making a nice play defensively. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. They'll try and run for it with Sayers. And he gets the first down yardage before he's brought down just outside the 10 at the 11. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains.
Well, that was big right there because they're in the bottom 5 in the league in converting on 3rd down. They needed that pickup in a big way.
There were two things they said they wanted to win in this game. One, the turnover battle, and the second, third down conversions. So they got one there. And he'll get this down inside the 5 to the 4 before he's out of bounds. A solid run on first down, gain of 7, leaves them with a 2nd and 3. If you start assessing what went wrong last week, Charles, in their loss, had nothing to do with the ground game. They ran it well.
And you also have to say to yourself as a team, don't go away from what worked. That's not the reason the game was lost. Running the football over time, when you do it consistently, usually translates into wins.
And they're hoping to do it consistently here. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave them with a 3rd and about 3 to go. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first. Out of the gun now on 3rd down. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. And the Vikings will take over here at their own 12-yard line.
And as we've seen, points have been precious so far, and they just threw something away on that snap. And look, let's face it, as we advance further into this game, that play will be on the minds of everyone who's watching it. They wonder if this is the turning point. Is this the spot where those points were given away and could cost them a ball game?
A first down carry for Smith. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 11, he goes down. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Part of their struggles last week was getting these negative plays on 1st and 2nd down. That's something they have to be wary of as this game continues.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. They'll look to throw. He's going to go for a big play downfield. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. And this passing game's whole offense really didn't show up in the loss last week, and it hasn't started all that great here either.
Yeah, they can't let that incompletion become an uh-oh moment. Like, oh boy, here we go again, just like last week. Each game is its own entity, treated as such.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Back to throw here. Throw left side complete. That's Jordan. And he will have a Vikings first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
We often hear the phrase sure-handed tight ends, and he certainly fits into that category. Plus, he's got a quarterback who knows to look his way when they need a big pickup. And on this play, he finds it for the first down.
Inside handoff, Smith. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down. The Vikings have 1-3 here in the early part of the year. They were losers their last time out. Trying to get back in the win column, but obviously not an easy task here in a hostile environment.
Yeah, always tough to win away from home. But sometimes what you do is you use these types of games as bonding experiences and carry that into the contest.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. They'll set up a throw. And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. That winds up pushing him back 11 yards on the sack. And that'll bring up 3rd. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's going to air one out. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
I like the fact that he took the shot deep downfield. Even if you don't get the catch, maybe you get a defensive penalty and pick up the yardage that way.
Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. On the return, Hester. 31 yards on the punt there. And it'll be a short field for the Bears as they take over 1st and 10. Try to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And he's got his big tight end here. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. That one goes for 24 yards.
Well, normally you see three tight ends in a formation. You have to think to yourself, this has got to be a run. And I know as a safety, when I saw that, I took an extra step or two towards the line of scrimmage. Instead, they threw the ball, and he found one of those tight ends for a very nice pickup.
3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
It's a pickup of 3. Brings up 2nd and 7.
After 1-7-0 on EA Sports.
Bears 7, Vikings 0.
Second down at 7. Looking to throw. They'll roll it, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. They push him back 8 yards that time on second down. I thought there at the end he may have had a chance to release that, but that pocket closed a little too quickly, and down he went.
Yeah, he was certainly trying to do everything he could to extend the life of the play, probably counting in his head. 1, 2, and then he ran out of time.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Under pressure, they got him again. It'll be a sack and a loss of 3, but more importantly, it brings up 4th down. The kick by Gold is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So as it turns out, that sack doesn't wind up costing them, Charles. They at least get points, get 3 of them.
Yeah, that's where your kicker can really come to your rescue, because you know after the sack there was a little consternation there. Are we out of field goal range? Are we going to be able to get 3? In this case, he stepped right up and gave them exactly what they needed.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Nothing for them yet from an offensive standpoint, down 10-zip as they come up 1st and 10. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
At the 23-yard line.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Pressure, and he's taken down. A Bear sack. He couldn't get away. He'll wind up losing 12 yards, a 12-yard loss, and it brings up 3rd.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes, and just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, their quarterback's been getting hit a lot in the last couple of weeks.
And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. And the Bears are going to take possession of the football. A nightmare of a first half for him. That's now 3 interceptions. But Charles, with his talent, if anyone can shake this off and right the ship, it's him.
I agree, because you don't get to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league without developing some major mental toughness. So I expect him to go in the locker room at halftime, hit the reset button, and come out a new guy in half number 2.
Now left side on the swing pass. And he's going to get this down near the 25.
And a really nice play call there to start the drive, especially if you're a team that has a little bit of a reputation for throwing it downfield. You come out and you think maybe you can catch them off guard a little bit, and they did. Little screen pass, backdoored them, and that time worked well for a solid gain.
Up the middle, they run with Gale Sayers. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
He'll look to throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. And the Vikings are going to get it back here just shy of the 20. So this defense coming up with a takeaway, and maybe that's something that could bring a little life to that sideline.
Well, I don't want to say that they've been sleepwalking through this first half because that's simply not true, but you're right. We haven't seen a lot of fire from these guys, really on either side of the ball. So maybe that's the catalyst that they needed to get them back into this game.
Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And incomplete on the deep ball.
Well, congratulations to them. They come through defensively with another stop. And let's face it, this secondary, they've gone unchallenged so far in the first half.
The offense on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. And he comes back with one complete. And his bid for the first down coming up short as he's tackled at the 25. So the completion good for 7 there. And that's going to make it 4th down. The Vikings send out their punter as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. And he's able to get this one out closer to midfield across the 45. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Bears take over. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And 2 interceptions already here in this first half. That's got to affect him a little bit, right? He's got to be thinking about it.
He's got to be thinking about it, but most of the good ones, they find a way to put it aside. They're not happy about it by any stretch of the imagination. They find a way to put it aside. They continue to play their game.
Can he put it aside? Let's find out. Again, they'll run with Sayers. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down. 42 yards on the ground for him so far. We've hit the 2-minute mark of the first half. 10-0 our score. Here's a give now to Sayers. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
I'm not sure how much more evidence they need, partner, than to understand that if they don't start to slow him down, it's going to be a long afternoon here at the stadium because he is just shredding them at this point. And let's face it, coming into the game, they knew he would be the focal point of their attack. This is going to take an 11-man unit on the defensive side to start making plays.
Forced out to his left. Puts it on the carpet. It's out. And the Vikings pick up the football. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27. We know he's got the speed to get downfield, Charles, but there's the negative side. A little loose with the football that time.
And that's normal, especially when you have his type of talents, because you feel like you're into the open field and maybe you don't feel the people who are around you or closing in. All quarterbacks have to do extra ball security drills with the way the game's played now because defenses, they attack the football as much as they attack the runner.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
He continues, Charles, to be under constant pressure. These sacks, they're starting to pile up.
And if they want to have a realistic chance in this one, they've got to change their blocking assignments. They've got to do a better job to keep him upright. If he's going to be on the deck constantly, they've got no chance to win this game.
And pressure coming, and they got him once again. Now the Bears going to use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. That's number 4. Sack number 4. They had 4 last week, so he's been down on the ground a lot.
Partner, they say the eye in the sky does not lie. And that's indeed the case because they watched the game tape from the previous week, incorporated it into their own defensive scheme, and continued to get after this quarterback.
And now this defense will be searching for sack number 5. Elsewhere, a score update from New Orleans, and it's an early lead there for the Saints. I have a feeling that one's going to stay tight throughout. We'll continue to monitor. On the give, this is Sayers. 16 yards is the pickup there on the first down for Chicago. They run with Sayers, and just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. Now the Bears will use their 3rd and final timeout as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. Here's 2nd and 10. They'll send a receiver in motion to the left. To throw now on 2nd and 10. Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. He's going to be brought down there in the field of play, and the clock will run. No timeouts. They will not have the chance to bring out the field goal unit.
Vikings, nothing.
Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. Set to resume. Here we go with the second half. The Bears holding the lead and ready to receive the kick. Well, certainly not what they wanted out of the locker room here as they'll start defensively at the 40-yard line. They'll try a toss here with Sayers. To the 43, 2nd down.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
The defender certainly didn't forget about him leaking out of the backfield. There was a guy ready and waiting to pick him up in coverage, and that throw had no shot.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. They'll drop to throw. Going down the middle, and it's complete. Touchdown, Chicago! For as big and strong as some of these guys are, especially when you see them in full pads, it is sometimes hard to appreciate how truly fast they can move. That was incredible.
And that's the kind of play where you have to kind of catch your breath afterwards. So just give me a second here, because when he shifted into high gear, he was an absolute blur out there. No substitute for speed. We talk about that all the time. The evidence was right there.
And the top speed he attained there, according to Next Gen Stats, 21.3 miles per hour. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line.
And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Now back to throw. Trying to lay one up deep. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
I'm sure this isn't a novel thought, but maybe run some simpler routes instead of trying to get it all back in one shot. Defense certainly appears to be ready for him. Try and get it back little by little instead of in big chunks.
The Vikings send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Here's Hester. And he steps out of bounds, but not before he gets inside the 35. He had his sights on the end zone, no doubt, but is brought down after a huge return there. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. They'll run with the Hall of Famer Sayers, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Whenever we talk about the best strong safeties, one word constantly comes up, and that's instincts. Being able to diagnose run or pass and make the appropriate moves.
He crashed down hard there. He was ready for that running play. They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
Oftentimes when you're losing a game and the team's still throwing with this kind of a lead, you start playing a little more physically. And they took that opportunity right there to be extremely physical and force that incompletion.
Well, good field position to start the drive, but under the gun now here on 3rd and 8. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Pretty secure lead, but what's the harm in adding another touchdown, right? At least that's what they were thinking on that snap. But if he wants to add more points, got to bring the throw down just a little bit and keep it in the end zone.
The kick by Gold is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So little by little, the better of these two sides starting to become more and more apparent.
3 points is not a knockout blow in the 3rd quarter, but when the other guys haven't shown they can do anything, they don't have any points, this is looking pretty good. Maybe not a knockout blow, but a good stiff jab, that's for sure.
And no return here for White. It'll be a touchback. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to... And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. And the Bears are going to take possession of the football. Well, still down quite a bit here, several scores, but yeah, at least that's a start, Charles, getting the interception here. And look, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so this thing not done yet.
You're right about that, Brandon. This defense, they haven't quit on this game. They stayed with it and got an interception and handed the ball back to their offense. And what you wonder about is the team that just threw that interception, they've got to be careful about developing a sense of complacency and thinking this game is over.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. The turnover put them in great field position. They don't want to squander it with 3rd down coming up.
No, not at all. And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
They got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
They'll look to throw here. He's got a man. That's Marshall. And he's able to break out of 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. They'll give him 4 yards there, and that'll bring up 4th down. Here comes Robbie Gould for the Bears field goal try. Spotted at the left hash, this from 45. The kick by Gold is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So the interception set him up with terrific field position, but 3 points, the end result.
Yeah, we can make this one pretty simple, partner. You always want to end drives with points, but that's one that you're going to look back on and probably say, we should have done better there.
And no return here for White. It'll be a touchback.
At their own 25-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, this has been a tough one for them, Charles. They've struggled really on both sides of the football. And one thing that's really plagued them, the turnovers. They've had issues keeping the football in their possession.
And every game that's ever been played, all coaches talk about taking care of the football and limiting turnovers. And in this one, after we saw that first turnover, we worried that things would snowball, and it certainly did, especially on the scoreboard.
He finds Smith out of the backfield. And he is going to lose yardage here. They'll wind up losing 3 here on the play. And it's going to be 3rd down and a ways to go here. 3rd and 14.
I don't know how well our microphones are picking it up for those of you at home, but Charles, you and I can hear it. A lot of groans right now coming from this crowd.
I don't know if we're picking up what's happening in the stadium or from the people who are supporting this team at home, because it's coming through loud and clear to you and me. This offense, they've been stuck in neutral much of the game. And on that last play, they actually went in reverse. I think this crowd would have liked neutral, don't you?
Yeah, neutral would have strongly been preferred. They'll take anything positive at this point.
Let's go.
They'll run with Smith. And they are going to stop him on 4th and 1 as they'll wind up going backwards. So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And the Bears are going to get the football back, and they're going to get it in great field position. Well, at this stage of the game in the second half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game.
And if there was a lane there, it closed up quickly as he stopped for no gain. 2nd down. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, and he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it one more time, so make sure you get in shape.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the 3rd quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
He'll look to throw. He'll drop this one off to Sayers. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Mark that down as a pickup of 13, and the Bears have the first.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the 3rd quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description, because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Glad to have you with us from Minneapolis. 3rd quarter here, 2nd and 10.
They'll bring a receiver in motion left. Now Sayers. And he'll get this one down to about the 17. The 2nd down play, not much better than the first, just a gain of 1 there. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. And this offense on third down today, not quite 50%, 4 for 9. This is 3rd and 10. They set up the screen to Peyton. And he's going to come up well short as they rally up to stop him at about the 16. They'll get only a yard out of that, and it'll bring up 4th down. And the 39-year-old veteran puts it right through, and that will extend their lead even further.
Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway.
Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first. They held him in check in the first half, but that's his longest carry of the game right there.
So would this be the definition of fresh legs since he didn't get much done in the first half? Now he has a great opportunity. He's taking full advantage of it.
And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Gonna let it fly for Rudolph. And now here is another interception. And the Bears are going to have great field position here as this is returned just shy of midfield. I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his 2nd interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Absolutely. If you would have told me this coming into the ballgame, I would have said never, not in a million years. But here we go. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Throwing left side, it's complete.
And he's going to be marked down just inside the 35.
Partner, I have to tell you, just one word keeps coming to mind from watching them this afternoon, and that's impressive. They have been impressive from the opening kickoff, and they haven't let up here even into the 4th quarter.
A run, this is Sayers. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And he's got some space here. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
93 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8. That last play backwards a yard.
The job of any linebacker involves having enough strength to fight off a blocker and get to ball carriers. But in this case, I think we can safely say he beat him right off the snap to get into the backfield and make that play.
And the slot man goes in motion left. Back to throw. And this is going to be incomplete.
The CD, they're up big, but they're still passing it. I mean, this is an offense that's had a lot of success in this game, and it seems like they're just having fun out there.
And it does feel like there's been a shift out there, doesn't it, partner? Listen, if you're up, you can continue to do what you want to do. It's up to the other team to make you change how you do things. They'll continue to throw it around until stopped.
Well, the only silver lining on the other sideline, CD, is that they kept him out of the end zone, but still, that's another 3 points added on to this large lead.
Yeah, no shortage of scoring or big plays on defense in this one. And even up by 4 possessions, still finding ways to create opportunities and capitalize with points.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. And they're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while. But everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
On second down, here's Smith again.
And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. A loss on that play, and now third down gets tougher, 3rd and 6. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. The Bears bring out an extra defender in the secondary now for 3rd down. Smith running wide side. And he's going to have the first down, yardage to the 35. 7 yards there. Good enough to move the sticks.
I definitely like the play call. You don't expect it on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, do you? You expect a pass play. Had a little courage there to call the run, and boy, they were successful.
Well, they'll run it here on the jet sweep. And hard running's going to get him over the 40 to the 42. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
But no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
2nd down and 3.
Smith up the middle. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 4 coming out.
And so get your 4 yards here to pick up the first down.
On 3rd down, Smith. And he's brought down short. 2 yards there, needed 4. This late in the game, Charles, I think you maybe seriously have to think about going for it.
Especially where they are in terms of field position, because this is almost like no man's land. Might hurt your punter because there might not be enough space, maybe too far for your field goal kicker. I'm like the old rule. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession is 9/10 of winning the game. Go for it. Get the first down. Close it out.
They'll run for it here with Smith. And try to push his way forward, but I think he's going to be short. And he is short. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And that will force a turnover on downs. They're all through now in that game in Tampa. And that one belonging to the Buccaneers. If they hold on, a victory there would be their 3rd of the year. And they'll indeed take a knee. So this this one in the win column for the Chicago Bears. And this was truly a total team effort, Charles, on both sides of the ball.
So they absolutely pitched a shutout, so it can't get much better than that, right? The defense led the way, but the offense did their part as well. They moved the ball up and down the field. So you've got to like what you saw. What do they call that? A total team effort? I think when it's time to hand out game balls, guys from both sides will end up getting one.
So for Chicago, they move a step closer to 500 as their record improves to 2-3.
And they will head home for next week's contest. That is against Washington.
Meanwhile, for Minnesota, they'll fall to 1-4 with a loss. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins.